Numbers don't lie, even when the person in your bed does. Data shows that when a woman suddenly feels suffocated by the same security she used to pray for, the oxygen she's looking for is usually being provided by a new man. Think about it. Why does her journey of self-discovery always require her to be away from you, but never away from her phone? You're witnessing a behavioral blueprint designed to keep you in the dark while she tests the light in someone else's world. You're the victim of a transitionary gap. While you're out there working long hours to build a future she said she wanted, she's using the space you provide to audit your replacement. You're the one paying the bills for the house she wants to take a break from, and you're funding the lifestyle that makes her look like a prize to the losers she's meeting behind your back. You think your understanding is a sign of a good man, but to a woman who is already checked out, your understanding is just a security deposit she's using to make sure she has a place to live if her new plan fails. Today, we are decoding the psychological reality behind the "I need space" speech. I'm going to show you why her sudden need for distance is almost always a signal for infidelity, and how to protect your empire before she hands the keys to a stranger. If you don't watch this to the end, you're choosing to be the last person to know that your relationship has already become a crime scene. When she asks for space, it's rarely because she wants to find herself. It's because she's already found someone else and needs you out of the way so she can enjoy the discovery. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay. Like this video and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong, because after this video, you'll be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead, because we are just getting started. We have to talk about the space paradox. This is a pattern that repeats itself in the lives of good men everywhere. You see, brothers, a woman who is truly invested in your leadership and your future doesn't run away when she's stressed. She runs to you. She wants to be under your protection, so when the narrative suddenly shifts and she tells you that she needs to go stay at her sister's or take a month off to think about her feelings, you aren't looking at a woman in a crisis. You're looking at a woman who is conducting market research. She has found a new source of validation, a new man who doesn't have the boring responsibilities of a long-term partner, and she wants to see if he's a better option. But she's smart. She doesn't want to jump into the cold world without a safety net, so she keeps you on the hook. She keeps you waiting and hoping while she tests the waters. You're the victim of emotional insurance. She is treating your life together like a job she is trying to quit while still collecting the paycheck. You are being manipulated by a victim narrative that is designed to make you feel like the villain. She will tell you that you are smothering her. She will tell you that your very presence is stifling her growth. This is a masterclass in psychological gaslighting. She is taking the security, the love, and the home you built for her and calling it a prison. She makes your provision look like a burden so she can look like a hero for breaking free. But notice the timing of this need for space. Does she need space when you're taking her to an expensive dinner? Does she need space when you're paying for her new hair or nails? No, she only needs space when she's found a new man who makes her feel excited, and your presence reminds her of the loyalty she is currently breaking. You've been working your life away to build a fortress, and her way of thanking you is to tell you that the fortress is toxic. It's a cold, calculated strategy. She waits until you are at your most vulnerable, and then she uses the space card to keep you paralyzed at home while she's out there making moves. Let's look at what happened to a man named David. David was a hard-working contractor, a man who lived for his wife and kids. He spent 10 years building a beautiful life for a woman named Sarah. David was the kind of man who would give you the shirt off his back. When Sarah started acting cold and distant, David did what society told him to do. He became more understanding. One night, Sarah sat him down and gave him the space speech. She said she felt lost and needed to stay at an Airbnb for a few weeks to work on her childhood trauma and reconnect with her soul. David, being the good man, not only agreed, but he actually paid for the Airbnb. He told her to take all the time she needed and even gave her a credit card for emergency expenses so she wouldn't be stressed. David was the loser in this story because he mistook a betrayal for personal growth. While David was at home, taking care of the house alone, praying for his wife to come back healed, Sarah was actually at that Airbnb with a guy she had been messaging on a dating app for weeks. She used David's credit card to buy the drinks they shared. She used the space David funded to build a relationship with his replacement. When she finally came back, she didn't say thank you. She said, "I realized during my time away that I've outgrown you." She left David for a man who didn't have half of David's character, and David was left with the bill for his own heartbreak. He failed because he didn't recognize that space is a tactical maneuver, not a spiritual one. He was the victim of a woman who used his kindness as a bridge to her next life. This is the psychological reality of monkey branching. A woman who lacks character will never let go of the branch she is on, which is you, your money, and your protection, until she has a firm 100% grip on the next man. The space is simply the time she needs to hang in midair and make sure the new guy is actually going to provide what she wants. If the new guy flakes or turns out to be a loser, she ends her space and comes back to you, telling you that she realized how much she loves you. If the new guy is a go, she stays in that space forever and tells the world that you were the reason she had to leave. You are being used as safety equipment. You are the reserve parachute that she only plans to use if her primary plan fails to open. The next level of this game is the insecurity trap. When you notice her behavior changing, when she's hiding her phone, or when she's coming home late with excuses that don't make sense, and you ask her about it, she tells you that your lack of trust is exactly why she needs space. This is a masterclass in shifting the blame. She creates the fire and then she blames you for smelling the smoke. She wants you to be a secure man, which in her world means a man who is silent, obedient, and keeps the direct deposits coming while she explores her options. You are being told that your natural masculine instinct to protect your territory is a toxic trait. You are the victim of a woman who wants to be unfaithful without having to deal with the uncomfortable feeling of you being aware of it. You take your power back by granting the space permanently. The moment a woman tells you she needs space from you, you must realize that the respect is already dead. A man of value doesn't wait for a woman to decide if she's still her first choice. You have to realize that you are the prize. You are the one who brings the order to the chaos. If she wants to see what the chaos is like without you, you must give her the full experience. You don't fund the space. You don't pay for the retreat. You don't send the "I'm here for you" texts. You simply say, if you need space away from me, then you can have the whole world. I don't build empires for women who want to be somewhere else. Pack your things. You have to show her that your provision and your presence are not natural rights. They are privileges that can be revoked the second the loyalty is questioned. The silence you're hearing right now isn't empty. It's a crowded room where you're the only one not invited. When she tells you she needs to clear her head, she's actually clearing her schedule for the man she met while you were busy building her dream life. You've been the victim of a silent replacement strategy. You're sitting in the living room wondering what you did wrong, while she's in the other room wondering if the new guy is going to text her back. You're funding the discovery phase of her next relationship. Every dollar you spend on her needs right now is a dollar invested in your own obsolescence. Today, we are finishing the job. We are looking at the final red flags of the space narrative: the reverse blame, the social media purge, and the resource siphon. I'm going to show you exactly how the winner turns space into a permanent exit that leaves the traitor wondering where her security went. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're giving her the time she needs to finalize the paperwork on your replacement while you're still providing the benefits. The most brutal truth a man can learn is that "I need space" is almost always the sound of a woman closing the door on you while she's already opened a window for someone else. We have to move into the reverse blame phase of the space narrative. This is where the psychological warfare gets truly nasty. You see, a woman who is looking for a reason to be unfaithful cannot live with the idea that she is the villain. She needs a story where she is the victim. To protect her image, she has to make you the monster. She starts rewriting the history of your entire relationship. Suddenly, your hard work isn't providing, it's neglect. Your desire for intimacy isn't love, it's pressure. Your protection isn't safety, it's control. She uses this space to build a legal and social case against you. She tells her friends, her family, and anyone who will listen that you pushed her away. You are being character assassinated while you're still paying her phone bill. She is using the distance she created to manufacture a reason for the betrayal she's already committed or is planning to commit. You are the victim of a woman who is burning down your reputation to stay warm in the arms of another man. Then comes the social media purge. This is a massive behavioral flag. While she's supposedly finding herself in her space, notice how your pictures start disappearing. Then comes the social media purge. This is a massive behavioral flag. While she's supposedly finding herself in her space, notice how your pictures start disappearing from her profile. She says she's cleaning up her feed or taking a break from the noise, but the psychological truth is simpler. She is clearing the marketplace. She is making herself look single to the new men who are looking at her profile. She wants to be seen as a woman who is unattached while she still has the ring you bought her on her finger. You are being deleted in real time. She is preparing the world for her new life, and she is using your stability as the foundation while she builds a new image that doesn't include you. I want to tell you the story of a man named Marcus. Marcus was a logistics manager, a man who built a kingdom for his wife, Chloe. When Chloe said she needed space to deal with her anxiety and reconnect with her inner self, Marcus didn't panic. He didn't beg. He had been watching the patterns. He noticed she was staying up late, talking to a friend from college she hadn't mentioned in 10 years. Instead of paying for a healing retreat or an Airbnb like Dave did, Marcus executed the sovereign reclamation. Marcus was the winner in this story because he understood that space is a two-way street. When Chloe moved out to her temporary apartment to think, Marcus didn't call, he didn't text, he didn't ask, "How are you feeling?" Instead, he used that space to look at the facts. He changed the locks on the house, he moved his savings into an account she couldn't touch. He stopped paying for her car insurance and her high-end gym membership. When Chloe realized that her space meant she was actually responsible for her own life, her anxiety suddenly disappeared. She tried to come back, telling Marcus she realized he was her rock and she made a mistake. But Marcus had used that time to check the phone records. He saw that she had spent her space trying to get with a man who lived in a studio apartment and had no career. When that guy didn't want to support her, she tried to crawl back to the kingdom Marcus built. Marcus didn't even open the door. He told her, "You wanted space, now you have the whole world. Good luck." Marcus won because he valued his peace more than being a sponsor for a woman who didn't respect him. He turned her request for distance into his ultimate freedom. You have to recognize the resource siphon. This is a very common pattern in the "I need space" narrative. When a woman is planning to jump ship, she starts acting squirrely with money. She starts asking for her own account or taking out large amounts of cash for personal needs. She is funding her exit using your sweat and blood. She wants to make sure that when she finally makes the move to the new guy, she isn't broke. You are the victim of financial treason. She is literally using your hard work to pay for the bridge that leads away from you. You have to be sharp. You have to be cold. If the respect is gone, the direct deposit must stop immediately. The winner's protocol is about total withdrawal. If she wants space, you give her the vacuum of space. You become a ghost. You don't argue, you don't fight, and you definitely don't try to win her heart back with gifts. Why would you try to win back someone who is actively looking for a reason to leave you? You are the prize. You are the one who provides the order and the chaos. If she wants to see what the chaos is like without your order, let her experience it 100%. Don't shield her from the consequences of her choices. If she wants to be independent, let her pay for her own independence. The moment you stop being the safety net, you will see how quickly her need for space turns into a need for security. But by then, you should be long gone. You are being reforged. You now know that "I need space" isn't a request for a vacation, it's a request for a replacement. You are no longer the man who sits and waits for a woman to decide his worth. You are the man who decides who is worthy of being in his presence. You are the king of your own life, and you don't negotiate with those who show signs of treason. You protect your time, your heart, and your money with the same intensity that you use to build your life. You have to realize that your absence is your greatest power. If she doesn't value your presence, let her feel the weight of your absence. So here is the smart question for the Brotherhood today. If she truly needed space to find her soul, why is she always finding it in the presence of other men, and why are you still the one paying for the search? I want to hear from the brothers in the comments. Have you ever fallen for the space lie? How did it feel when you realized she wasn't healing, but was actually auditioning your replacement? For the men who stood their ground and walked away, tell the brothers how your life improved the second you stopped being a sponsor for a woman who didn't respect you. Drop your opinion below. Let's get the engagement up so this message reaches the brother who is currently packing her bags for a retreat he shouldn't be paying for. Your story could be the wake-up call he needs. This channel is for men who are done blaming themselves for other people's choices. If that's you, don't leave as a spectator. Subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. Support the message, speak in the comments, and stand with the men who choose clarity over confusion. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay cold, and stay in your power.